Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth, and welcome to Novalink Immigration. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and on this channel, I'll be giving you information and updates regarding Canadian immigration. Canadian immigration has a very dynamic landscape. From time to time, we get updates, new programs are brought on board, and some existing programs are taken out of the way. So it's very important to stay up to date regarding this. So if you're an individual planning to relocate out of your home country, specifically to Canada, on this channel, you can expect to get information that can make your immigration process smooth. You can also get to receive information regarding things to avoid while submitting while submitting your application to the government of Canada, or things you need to do to assist your application and increase your chances of a successful application. So for today, we'll be talking about a new pilot that has just been launched. It was actually launched 2 days ago for individuals who are from French-speaking countries. So let's get right into today's discussion. The new immigration pathway that was announced on August 14th and which essentially has been launched on August 26th, that's 2 days ago, focuses on attracting international students from French-speaking countries. And it's also a way the government has designed it in a way that these individuals, after their study here in Canada, they would be able to apply for permanent residence. So if you like, you can say, it's a kind of direct route for these individuals to go on to permanent residence. Although more information has not been given regarding how they will transition to permanent residence after studying here in Canada. Quite a number of eligibility criteria for individuals who want to come in through this route. But I should let you know right away that not all institutions are eligible for this route. There are specific designated learning institutions, like not all designated learning institutions can admit students from these French-speaking countries to come in to study in Canada through this Francophone immigration route. So basically we have some Francophone minority communities, and it is these communities that are eligible to run the Francophone Minority Community Students Pilot Program, which, as I said before, has just been launched on August 24. Now, I'm right here on the Government of Canada webpage. This is where you can find all of the information, or most of the information, regarding this pilot program. And when we call it a pilot program, that means it's actually been tested and could be extended if the government finds it's good, it's achieving the kind of results they want. They could extend it further after the initial end date. So let's talk more about this program. First of all, it's to target individuals who speak French, basically, from some countries in Africa, the Middle East, and the Americas. And we'll be looking in detail as to the countries that are eligible. Now, this is what this means. Individuals who speak French from other countries may not be eligible, or not just may not be eligible, would not be eligible for this program. Only individuals from the specific countries that are eligible would be able to come into Canada to study using this route. As well, the government of Canada has done a few other things to make sure they can come in easily. Recently, that earlier this year, the government announced the cap in the number of students that can come in, or foreign students that come into Canada to study, international students. So there is currently a cap ongoing. But the government has announced that this cap would not affect those in this Francophone route. The cap does not affect them. That is, the number of students who are coming in through this route are not included in the number that was announced by the government, although there is a cap for this program as well. For instance, this in the first year, the government is looking to accept 2,300 candidates through this program, and a new cap will be set for this program in August 2025. Another very important information to note is the fact that the government has also adjusted the proof of funds. So one of the things you need to show when you're coming to Canada to study is that you have the funds to sponsor your education. Now, the government has adjusted the proof of funds. You don't need the amount any other person coming to Canada to study would need to show. So individuals just need to show about 75% of the low income cutoff that is associated with the municipality where the institution is located in. And in a moment, I'm going to be showing you what that looks like and the amount these individuals are required to show. Now, let's just quickly get to a few quick facts about this program. Now, you can see the provinces that have just been, or the communities in specific provinces that have been added to the number of communities that are eligible to accept students in this program. So we see this is the list: British Columbia, we have Nanaimo, we have Red River in Manitoba, we have Cheticamp in Nova Scotia, we have Belle Bay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. We also have Prince Albert in Saskatchewan, we have Cornwall, Cochrane District, and London in Ontario. Now, let me show you some very quick facts that are very important to note regarding this program. Those coming to study this program do not need a provincial letter of attestation. Again, one of the things that was implemented from the start of the year is any individual coming to study in Canada, as an international student, will need a provincial letter of attestation from the province before they can apply for a study permit. So individuals under this pilot program are exempted from submitting a provincial letter of attestation. As well, spouses or common law partners of the principal applicants are allowed to also come to Canada with the students. So they can come in as visitors, they can come in as workers, they can come in as students as well. And as well, one of the things that was announced earlier this year is the fact that only specific individuals can accompany students to come in here to Canada. For the vast majority of programs currently going on, spouses can only come in as visitors. They are not given open work permit again. Children can come in as students or as visitors, as the case may be. But the caveat here for this Francophone program is that those who come in as spouses are eligible to come in as visitors or even to work while you're in Canada. So that's very important to note. So it's a plus. I consider that a plus for this program. Now, let's look at the amount. It's just 150 Canadian dollars for the processing fee, and it takes just a 10-week processing timeline. So let's talk more about the eligibility. Who are those who can apply to this program? Remember, I talked about specific designated learning institutions being eligible. So you can't just say, I want to apply to any school. It has to be one of the designated learning institutions. Currently, we have very few institutions who are on the list of the participating designated learning institutions, and the government has said as more institutions become eligible, they would be added to the list. So here we have one in New Brunswick, that is at Bathurst. We have another one in Ontario, and we have University of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta. So currently, these are the groups that are, or the institutions that are eligible as of today. And the government has also stated the earliest eligible semester you can apply for. So if you want to apply, say, for winter 2025, that's not going to be possible. For all of these three institutions I mentioned, the earliest eligible start date is September 2025. Right here on this table as well, you would be able to see the funds that are required to meet the financial requirements for study. Of course, you need to have your tuition available. In most cases, we advise students to pay up their tuition. In addition to your tuition, the government is saying you need your living expenses. So how much money would you need? Again, this is going to depend on where the school is located. Is it in a rural area? Is it in a big city? What kind of, is it in a municipality? That is what is going to determine the amount of money you need to show. And the number of people who are traveling with you will also determine the amount of money you need to show. So for the school in New Brunswick, it falls under the Group D. And if you scroll down here to Group D, that school in Bathurst Bathurst itself has a population under 30,000. So basically, this is what you need to show. If you're coming as a single individual, you need to show 16,161 Canadian dollars as your proof of living expense. If you're coming with family, depending on the number of people you're coming with, then you can see the corresponding amounts you need to show. Okay, now for the school in Ontario, that's location in Hearst falls under the Group E for the funding that is required. And so if we go to Group E, it is a rural area. For one person, as a single applicant, you would need to show 14,206. If you're coming with your spouse, 17,685, or if you're coming with your children, you can choose the amount or look at what is required of you depending on your family size. Now, when we come to the third eligible institution, that's University of Alberta, and the location is in Edmonton, Alberta, it falls under the Group A. For Group A, Edmonton has a population of over 500,000. So as a single applicant, you're required to show 20,635. Okay, so basically, this is what the government is saying you would need to show as living expense in order to come study in any of these institutions. Now, let's look at the next step in eligibility. Who can apply? Like I mentioned before, not all students from every country is eligible. Okay, so here is the list of eligible countries. It's listed alphabetically. Benin, Burkina Faso, quite a number of them are African countries. I mean, almost 90% of the list are African countries or even more. So we have very few countries that are not African. We have St. Lucia, we have Sao Tome and Principe, and then we have Seychelles. Those are the non-African countries. All the other countries are more or less African countries. Now, say for instance, for you to be eligible for this program, you must be a citizen of one of these countries. Okay, you must be a citizen of one of these countries. So you cannot just be living in the country and probably because you've learned to speak French, you become eligible to apply to this program. You must be a citizen of this country in order to be eligible to apply to this program. Now, other things, you must, like we mentioned before, you must be applying to one of the participating designated learning institutions. You must have your tuition, which is non-negotiable. You must also have your living expense for yourself and family members should they be coming with you. Other conditions apply, like you must do your medical examination and be medically admissible, get a police certificate if you need one, and very importantly, you must meet up with the French requirements. So you must show that you're able to speak French, because that is the real essence of this program, to assimilate much more French nationals or French-speaking individuals into Canada. So you must pass your speaking, your listening, your reading, and your writing skills at a level 5 or higher in the NCLC scale. That's the body that tests for French, for Canadians. So whatever result you get for your French exams, when you convert it to the NCLC scale, it must be up to level 5 or higher. So those are the basic requirements for individuals who want to come into Canada to study using one of these routes. So maybe you're not eligible for these and you have one person or the other who might be eligible for these. This is a very good opportunity. You can share with them, you can let them know about it. They can begin to plan towards this, start looking out for admission in any of the 3 eligible institutions, and then gather their documents, be sure that they have the finances for the program, which they can show by means of bank statements, bank accounts. They can also buy their guaranteed investment certificate if they want to do that. They need to pay their tuition, of course, and gather all the other documents, their medical exams, make sure they're writing their French examination, and then they reach the cutoff point. And if they want to come with family, that is absolutely fine. Now, like we showed before, it's going to take 10 weeks to process. And after that, after graduation, the individual and their family members would be eligible for permanent residence, or may be eligible for permanent residence. The government hasn't really given more information regarding how the path to permanent residence would be, but after graduation, we know that these individuals would be able to apply for permanent residence if they are not living in Quebec. So you want to make sure you're not looking for a school in Quebec. Also, at the time of application, they must have a valid temporary resident status here in Canada. And very, very importantly, they must have received a degree or a diploma from one of the participating communities. And they must have come into Canada through this route, essentially. So this is an opportunity for those from other African countries, the eligible African countries who, probably because of CAP, as we all know, getting study permits is getting more and more difficult here in Canada. So individuals who have not been able to come in due to the restrictions, due to the reduction in number of people that are offered or approved for their study permits on a yearly basis, those individuals now have this opportunity to go in and at least be one of the 2,300. So if you are in this category, you're listening and you think you're eligible for this, you have what it takes to come to study in Canada based on the criteria we've talked about, absolutely go in for this. If you need help with putting in your application, we would be more than willing to assist you here at Novalink Immigration to put in that application. To also get an admission, we can assist you through the admission process. Or if you already have an admission you've gotten from one of the eligible institutions, we can assist you package your application and submit it to the government of Canada. And if you want to do this by yourself, you have all of the information on the Government of Canada website, which are the pages I have used to show you exactly what the government is doing or what the requirements are for this program. So definitely up on the Government of Canada website, you can read this information in English, you can read it in French, and you can be well equipped to put in for this application. I believe this video has been educative enough. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay blessed. Bye-bye.